It's not every day that a high school student with a big idea can work with a major tech company to make it a reality. This is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council with Tech Vibe, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's innovation and technology ecosystems. In this episode of Tech Vibe, you'll discover how Nandana Menon overcame the challenges of bringing her innovative app for children with autism to life with the help of CGI's Pittsburgh office. Keep on listening and you'll learn Nandana's strategies for effectively collaborating with industry experts to develop her concept. You'll also learn how she secured funding and resources to support yet another app geared toward addiction. And finally, she has insights on navigating the product development process and getting your solution in front of the right audiences. Let's welcome Nandana and Jeff Lyon of CGI to learn about this unique relationship. So first off, welcome to Tech Vibe. So glad to have you here, Nandana and Jeff. My goodness, it's such a cool story. Like I said, at the Tech Council, it's not every day we're hanging out with CGI throwing parties for somebody, Nandana. But when you do the kind of work that you've done over the past couple years, when it comes to helping people with autism, sensory issues, and building an app around that with CGI, pretty exciting stuff. So I appreciate you taking the time to tell your story with me today.
I started this project my sophomore year.
Okay.
I initially saw how so many children in my community and globally were suffering from verbal delays, which eventually led to autism. So
yeah, how did you see that? Like, what brought this to your attention? And it bothered you enough to say you want to do something about it, right?
So amongst the COVID-19 pandemic, there were obviously so many children that were born during 2020.
Right.
And when they first come into the world, like, obviously, as a human, it's within the first 3 to 5 years that like your brain is like constantly absorbing so much information and is just growing at like such an unnatural like pace.
It's sensitive,
so many people had masks on whenever they went out, and kids were always indoors. They barely had any communication with like other children, or whenever they would see other people, like they were always wearing masks. And then that had a really big impact on those kids. And whenever like things were like getting back to normal, I saw how like I remember like me and my friends would always go outside and play outside. But this was like in like 8th grade and stuff when like COVID first hit. But then like after we would go on a walk, like it was like stranded, like no one would be there. And then like when I would see a kid, like they would like barely like come and say hi to me. So to initially tackle that problem, I did sensory story times at my local library. Since I was a Girl Scout and I wanted to get my gold award, so I saw that as like kind of like a problem. And so I did my sensory story times, and that eventually became really popular. We made sensory baskets and bins, and children will be playing with them. And then I applied for Launch, which is a program to help women in STEM and women in high school gain kind of like a standing in whenever they're going into like those STEM fields to get that upper hand. I remember we always have to present like a final project at the end. And it's something that has to be catered towards something that we're passionate about. So
you said, I'm taking this and I'm going to make something out of it, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
I had the idea to create an app, and then I shared this with Marie, and then Marie was able to connect with Maria. And then it was absolutely beautiful from there.
And at that point, they're like, wait a second, we think we know some people that might be able to help. I remember at our board meeting, actually, we bringing this up, and Bernie Mongilio was like, CGI wants to help with this. And that's where Jeff comes in, Jeff. Right. I mean, how cool is this? I just love the fact that I see CGI, and this, to me, like I said, it's like the 3 biggest letters in tech around here in Pittsburgh. And to step up and say, we're going to help Nandana actually take this and put it into an app that can actually help.
Yeah, absolutely. With CGI, we have a strong culture of giving back in the communities in which we live and work. So when Bernie came back with this project and announced it to his organization, socialized it with his organization, quite a few of us stood up and said,
like, we want to do this, right?
Yeah. So, we're a large IT organization. We excel at bringing concepts to reality.
That's what you guys do. I mean, that's how you pay the bills over there, But you don't always do it with someone that's in high school that's part of the program, which I just love.
Nor with the communities that she intended to serve.
Yeah.
So this was a great opportunity for our members, all of whom want to contribute to the community, to do so with the technology aspect of it.
Very cool. So what's it like coming together? I mean, obviously, I think you came with a pretty good description and an outline of how you'd want this app to work. And then you're working with their technical people to kind of take that and then put the tech behind it so it works.
So Yeah, our technical people are broad. So we have people, designers and strategists, and people that work with people like Nandana who have a goal and a business objective. And we break it down into technology, and then we deliver upon the technology. So I think really our interface with you, Nandana, was around putting her vision into sight, designing the user interface, deciding who the customers are, the child, the caregiver, the parents, building an interface for you to manage the application. And then we take that work back, we take it back to my team and to some of our technologists who put that business objective conceptualize that into code and deliver
Right.
it.
So, Nandana, what did you learn the most as you're going through this process, this back and forth, this kind of give and take to actually see, your vision, your idea, and your thoughts, and then seeing that come into a technical format? Like, that's got to be so much fun. And I'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was definitely so cool since I was only in high school and I was working with such a big technology firm, which
Yeah.
it was crazy because they took it on as a pro bono project. And
Was it intimidating?
it was definitely,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, for them, it was a labor of love. And then
Right.
I think from the very beginning, we started like those summer sessions. I remember there were so many people there. And then we were just constantly spitting out ideas, making a graph about the things that we can put into the MVP or the most viable product that we can get out in like the shortest amount of time.
Okay.
And after that summer session, I remember I got a vision board, and then that vision board just highlighted everything that the app would create. And then I remember in December, I worked with Yatri Shah, who was kind of the designer. We worked through static displays. And then after that, it was all just me and Ethne working to make the app a reality. And I mean, obviously, like, it was just a small idea, but Ethne and like the rest of CGI, along with Jeff, were able to create it and make it come to life. Since I honestly barely had any like technical background or like.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, you're in high school. I mean, you got some great ideas, but not necessarily the tech skills to make that happen. So that's why I just love seeing your passion come together with their tech chops, and then some cool stuff starts to happen that helps people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times, like, there were so many changes, like there were so many different people who were involved in it, and like there were so many people who were there and then who weren't there. And I remember like Jeff, Dana, and Ethne were always there. And I mean, always, like from the very beginning to now to the very end, like it's a highly developed prototype. And I've been able to pursue so many things with that project.
Right. Well, tell me more about what other doors this is opening, because I think you've been in some other competitions and so forth. Like, come on.
I was able to, so this really highlighted a pathway for me in engineering, along with science too. So I was able to participate in the CGI T-Girl Challenge, which is an annual challenge that CGI hosts to help more women get into engineering or IT fields. And me and my partner, she was a senior and now she's in college, we created an app called Taboo, which is called Toward Better You, which is mainly for people who are struggling with addiction to help them combat it. And we were able to win that challenge and gain $20,000.
See, back up. Win $20K. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing stuff. That's like no joke. And the idea of another app that can really help people, right? Like, that's awesome.
And I think it's another way that we as CGI, we show the commitment we have to our community, but also we allow our partners and our members these opportunities to work with people like Nandana and take the passion that they have for technology outside of banks and manufacturing and insurance, and really for something we might call a greater good.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So you got this prototype of it. So what are next steps now that you have a prototype? It seems like you need just a couple more pushes and you can get this thing out there.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So now that's a highly developed prototype. I mean, we had it like finalized around August, October. And since then it's like, okay, now I have this prototype. What do I do with it? Since it is kind of more like a medical app, it's a little bit more trickier to get on the app store.
Of course, yeah, totally.
One of my main things was that obviously it's an app for children with autism, and a lot of people that have been looking at it don't have autism. So my first goal was to bring it to them. I've been working with a couple of local therapy centers to gain their feedback on how to make it better, and like what are their like, oh, this is good, this is not bad. I've been able to gain their feedback, but then along with that, I was also able to partner with UPenn's Graduate School of Education to gain their feedback too, but Penn is in Philadelphia, but with their help, I feel like we can definitely push it out more and just like game because like they're our graduate school of education. So
That's
like,
impressive.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, just the fact that you've been hustling around this thing. I mean, you've gone through the whole thing to develop to a prototype. You're out trying to get partnerships to help move that to the next level due to the fact that this is a medical thing. I mean, this takes a lot of
yeah.
approval. So I'm impressed all the way around. I love seeing you guys come together to make this happen. I want to see this happen like with every launch class. I want to see people as charged up as you come in with ideas and being able to hang out with CGI and try to bring those things to life and get more women engaged in tech and engineering and all the good stuff. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with me and telling a story. I'd let you go because like I think the party's ready to get started
Yeah.
here, and they're all looking at me like, "Get them out of here!" So guys,
Guest of honors.
you are the best, absolutely. So Nandana, congratulations!
Thank you so
and
much.
I wish you an awesome and amazing future.
Thank you.
Simple as that. And Jeff, thank you for hanging out
Thank
and
you.
making the story happen for us.
It's great being with you.
You guys are the best. This has been Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and, of course, Tech Vibe Radio.